continue to. What was your? I already forgot your whole purpose. Not supporting your partner. Yeah, I totally forgot what he was talking about. See, so I should support you more to hear what you even said in the first place. Not supporting your partner, and I completely lost track because I'm just supporting my partner. I don't always have to understand what he's doing. I just have to be next to him and support him. So I'll put my pom-poms on and shake him, shake him, shake him. Mm-hmm. Yay, John, give me a J.
Welcome family to the Bacon Bits podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast is that will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we are talking about on the Bacon Bits podcast is dealing with having a balanced life. Finances, relationships, your health, your mind, and your spirit. And we want you to have your best life that you've ever had, bit by bit. We just love hearing you say this out loud so you can put it into the atmosphere. Say valuable. Information. Applied. Equals success. Amen. And we are getting excited about this episode we are about to record for you guys right now. We are talking about what to not do.
You mean what not to do?
Okay, what to not do.
What not to do.
In a healthy relationship. We always talk about the do's of, but there are also some don'ts. And I would like to start us off with some wonderful scripture from the Word of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the wonderful love verses that they always talk about, because I love how God said what to do and what not to do, and that's what gave me the inspiration. I want to do this episode. It says, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way and is not irritable and resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never, ever, ever, ever fails. We fail, but love never fails. So that's the cool part about God telling us what to do and what not to do to make our wonderful relationships healthy and loving and caring and supportive and all those wonderful things. So we're going to talk about what not to do in a relationship. And I am joined by the woman of my life, my sweetness, my queen, the lover of my soul. Thank you for being so wonderful, my beautiful queen, Diana Bacon.
Hey, babe.
Hey, boo.
Good to chill out with you, babe.
Mm-hmm. And talk about this stuff that we love talking about. Is we love people to have healthy relationships. Man, I don't know why people would not want to have healthy relationships. But sometimes when we don't love ourselves, we do not appreciate and love on ourselves to get what we truly deserve. Because sometimes it doesn't happen on the outside of us. It happens just on the inside. But we want to talk about what not to do in healthy relationships.
I think you said something when you said we don't love ourselves enough. One of the hard truths is you can tell a lot about how a person values themselves based on the relationship they have.
Yeah.
So if you're in an abusive relationship, whether it be verbally, mentally, emotionally, especially physically, I think there's some work to be done with your own heart.
Yeah.
And we all can say, and usually we know exactly who that applies to. Mm-hmm. And if that's you, then there's so many resources out there for support and to help you get out of those kind of relationships.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about some of the things that we should not do.
That's right. Yeah. Because I think given the opportunity to talk about relationships every week, I think people sometimes just need to be told that they're in a toxic relationship, because they've been living it for so long that it becomes the norm. And that is not what we want to happen. We do not want you being in a relationship that is not fulfilling, caring. It's making you have the kind of life that you want to have with that significant other or with your kids, because we don't want you to have an unhealthy relationship with your babies. So we're going to jump right on up in here. What are some things, honey, that you think are just not to be done in such a healthy relationship?
I think the first thing is to not get into a relationship where you do not trust the other person.
Yeah.
So if you're really dealing with trust issues, and that could be for a myriad of reasons, a lot of it is if we're not in a place where we can trust others, trust our friendships, trust our family, trust our friends, trust ourselves in situations, you should not be in a relationship that you don't trust them, because that involves a lot of integrity, and you have to be honest. No keeping secrets from each other, and you shouldn't have to worry whether or not you're apart from them if they're out there pursuing other people.
Yeah.
But trust goes beyond believing they will or will not cheat or even lie to you. It means that you feel safe and you feel comfortable with them. Trusting them is knowing they will not harm you or hurt you physically or emotionally or mentally torturing you. Trust goes a long, long way. So I would not be in a relationship if I didn't, number one, feel like I could trust my own self, trust others around me. So I definitely wouldn't be in a relationship with a partner that I don't trust.
Yeah. I think that was just you, how you ended that with, we don't trust ourselves. Part of trusting ourselves is that when we tell ourselves something, that we will keep our word to ourselves. That's not stated enough. I think a lot of people in their lives are not where they really want to be at in life, simply because they've spoken things to themselves that they haven't come through on. They haven't had committed action to make that thing happen. And so I think a big part of that is you got to get to the point that, man, I don't even want to tell myself I'm going to do something unless I'm really going to put forth the effort to do it. Because I want you to get to the point where you trust yourself enough that when you say something to yourself, you'll keep your word. And it makes it that much more easier to be in trusting relationships when you trust yourself and you understand that if you're not being trusted, you say, you know what, I got to get up out of here because I trust me enough to want to be in something healthy and something prosperous.
Well, the reality is, if you are not a trustworthy person, stop pursuing relationships until you get to a place where you can have enough honesty and integrity and honor just as an individual.
Yeah. I think that's super important. Yeah. And we don't say that enough. Being a person of integrity is what's such a beautiful thing, because you know that, if you keep your word to yourself, it's easy to keep your word to other people, but it starts with you, and that's where we got to begin this whole thing.
The problem is people who don't have it don't know they don't have it. And you can't tell them they don't have it because they don't see the problem, because in their mind they are honest, and if you can't handle it, they just don't, they don't have the love, they don't have that compassion and kindness, maybe. But integrity and honesty go hand in hand, but it does not mean that you have to be mean about it.
Right, that's true. And I think sometimes the reason why it's so cool to do episodes like this is sometimes we have to take a personal inventory of ourselves to see if what we're hearing is lining up with what we say we believe. And that's a big one, because there's a lot of, I call it self-torture in a lot of people's lives, because what they're saying and what they're doing is not lining up. So I think that's the start of a great part of talking about what not to do in a relationship, and that's it, not being in a relationship where you don't trust the other person, especially if you don't trust yourself. So one of my ones I want to throw out for what to not do in a healthy relationship is not being supportive of your partner. Man, that is important, because in a relationship you will have moments where, guess what, you feel down, you feel you say depressed, you can feel just the low energy, you just not feeling it. And it's cool to have that supportive partner that will be there in your corner and be your hoorah-rah, your cheerleader, your uplifter, in situations and times where you're just not feeling it. And it is good to be with somebody that you can iron sharpen iron with in a relationship. So being super supportive of their ideas as well as them being supportive of your ideas in the relationship.
And you're not always going to agree with their idea being the best route to get to the vision that maybe they're driving towards. But it can be hard sometimes because it could be so nowhere near what you want to do with your time. But at the very least, if you're not willing to work alongside them, at least be there to encourage them and find space to allow them that freedom to find that thing.
Yeah. Wait. This is wow. So you mean to tell me you do not have to support? I mean, even though you are being supportive, you don't have to agree with everything they're saying. What? This is kind of like revolutionary. I think people.
It's not even agreeing with what you're saying. It's agreeing in how you are unraveling the whatever it is that you're looking for. Like if your goal is one place, there's so many ways to get to that one goal.
Right.
So our ideas of how to get there might be completely different.
Yeah.
But you have to respect the other person enough and trust the other person enough to know that this is the way that they need to go. Because it might not work your way. It might work for you that way, but knowing that we're all made differently. We're all created a little bit differently, and we all see things differently. So supporting that person, whether or not you understand why they're even doing this.
Right. And I like how it's even woven into what we just talked about with trust. I got to trust that maybe, the angle that I'm looking at this at is not the right angle to look at it. And to have such a supportive partner in the relationship that it's what they can see it from a different angle of how I can achieve the very goals that I say I want to achieve. So that's the cool part about having somebody supportive is sometimes because we are us, we can't look at ourselves objectively. So we need to have a person from a different angle look at where we're trying to go when sometimes we're bumping our heads in the same area and trying to do the same thing over and over again and not getting no results.
Yeah. And I love you enough to support you, whether or not I even understand or see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just tell me how I can support you, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to just do that. We don't have to understand it. We don't even have to like it. How many things do our kids do that we don't understand or like, but we're there to support them and clap our hands and smile and continue on.
Yeah. I love that you said that, because some people need to hear that we might not agree, but if that's going to make you happy, doing something that's positive and productive,
and it's not hurting me one bit.
That I think that's where the support should be there, because if I'm happy in doing what it is that I'm trying to pursue, that's going to make the relationship that much better, because I'm going to go into it with a happy attitude, happy personality, and that's the good part, because there's nothing like when you're in the same house with somebody and they're not being supportive at all in what you're trying to do. Like I said, we ain't got to go into agreement with it, but being supportive in something that you're trying to do that's productive and that will be a blessing to both your lives, even though I might not have no interest in that thing. And we'll say per se, like, my baby is super creative. She's an artist and she does wonderful art projects and paintings and all that. And I love and adore the stuff that she does. And I have absolutely no desire whatsoever to do any of that. But I love being there to be supportive in those things. And I love watching her light shine as she does what it is that she's gifted to do with her art. So.
And you also bring me supplies if I need them. If you're out and I ask you for a cardboard box, you will go and find me a cardboard box at whatever those little things are. So whether or not you're even part of that creating process, you are, because you're helping me with the supplies that I need. So in whatever capacity, it's understanding we don't have to like what the other person's doing or understand what the other person's creating, but just supporting them, being there with them, and not discouraging them.
Yeah.
is important, to not discourage them in the process. Like, for what? Like, what are you doing that for? Like, why are you even wasting your time? We could be doing better things with our time. And of course, we can always find things to do, but continue to. What was your? I already forgot your whole purpose. Not supporting your partner. Yeah, I totally forgot what he was talking about. See, so I should support you more to hear what you even said in the first place. Not supporting your partner. And I completely lost track because I'm just supporting my partner. I don't always have to understand what he's doing. I just have to be next to him and support him. So I'll put my pom-poms on and shake him, shake him, shake him. Yay, John, give me a J.
See, that's the cool part about doing this stuff right here, because you get the chance to hear the whole story of, not just everything is lollipops and roses and cotton candy and chocolates.
Lollipops and
That's
rainbows.
right. But it's cool to know that, guess what, we're there for each other no matter what. And that's what it's all about, because you want to have that supportive partner and knowing that they got your back and they can be trusted.
Yeah. And another thing not to do, which I think is really, really important, that a lot of people, just in friendships, just with your spouses, with your children, with your friends, with your family, is we're not staying curious about each other. We're not asking questions. We're not interested in your thoughts, our goals, because we just assume we know. Oh, I know what they're going to say. I'm not even going to even approach them with this idea, like you said, supporting each other. I can't support you if we don't stay curious. Like, what is it about that? What do you want to do? Like, tell me how you see this going. Like, what's your whole process here? Explain to me. Stay curious. We have to continue to ask questions and let's not assume that we know the answer. Even when you think you know the answer, and you might be right, you might be wrong, but if we stop asking questions, like we do when you first got to know them, you started asking questions. What's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? And you try and make the foods they like and wear the colors they like and do the things that interest them. It means you're interested in their thoughts, in their goals, in their everyday, whatever, however boring it might seem to you. You want to watch them grow, and you want to watch them become the best version of who the best self for them is. Whoever that person is that they want to continue to grow into. It's not you. It's not your thoughts. It's not your desires for them. It's their own. And we got to stop being so fixated on who they used to be.
Yeah.
You got to give people space to grow, just the same way you want space to grow and you want freedom to grow. And Thich Nhat Hanh has my favorite quote, and it's love people to where they feel free.
Yeah.
But if you don't stay curious and ask me questions, you'll never know what's in my mind. You're just assuming it's whatever. He doesn't know. John asked me a question like, what's on your mind? He has no idea what I'm going to say.
That's right.
How to bake a different. I made a really good chocolate Mexican cake last week. Oh my God, it was good. So he doesn't know. I could be looking real serious, and I'm trying to come up with like a new invention to eat, usually, or a new creation to create, or paper mache stuff, or painting, or jewelry, or you name it.
Yeah. And I think the thing that's so cool is because some of the stuff I really do become interested in. Super grateful that the woman that I married in 2009, I'm sorry, and it's been going on 2024 of being our 15-year anniversary coming up in August. It's the fact that she's not the same woman I married in 2009. Things have changed drastically. And that's the cool part of knowing that people evolve and they're constantly growing and they want to be better. And when you're in a relationship with somebody that wants to be better, man, it makes the atmosphere so beautiful, because there's a spark that's always there. There's fire that's always there. There's kindling and wood that should go into the fire to keep the fire burning. And part of that is being curious about what is in the relationship. What's keeping it going. What's the new thought process? What's the new phase they're in at the time? She's doing a wonderful art project that she just got into the starting process of it, and it's just seeing the curiosity of her mind and how she's putting it together is just amazing to see how her mind works when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, I always want to be there and see, like, man, what was she thinking when she came up with that piece? And because it's just so phenomenal to see how your mind thinks, and it's totally different from mine. And it's cool to hear that because it makes me want to have new ideas of sparking interest in some of the stuff that I'm doing.
Thanks, babe. That's
nice. Yes, my love.
So that goes with something else we should never not do. Whatever.
That's what I've been saying.
Things that we should do, but what we should not do is not have fun, not stay playful, not stay silly about things. Like, be lighthearted. You have to make time for fun and spontaneity. We have to be willing to just grab a backpack and throw some clothes in it and just, we got a day off tomorrow. Let's just head out now. Sleep in the car, whatever.
Yes.
Go camping. I know people don't love to camp like we do, but there's so many other ways. I used to sleep in my truck back in the day. Yeah. I used to always sleep in my truck back in the day. But even if you're just telling jokes and laughing together, it's a good sign. You've got to be willing to be silly. You got to be willing to have fun. We love playing games. Mm-hmm. We might be laying there bored and zoned out watching some monotonous, non-thinking television like we all like to do and just kind of zone out our mind. But, sometimes you just got to say, okay, that's enough. At the end of the show, we're going to play a game. And whatever that game is, let's go find whether we pull out. We haven't pulled out Scrabble in a long time.
No, we haven't.
And we play, we got this new Mexican train game, and it looks super fun. So we do Mexican train. Rummy Cube. There's so many things. Learn a new game together.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. This Sunday, me and a friend of mine are going to, she's invited me. I'm so happy. She's going to teach, I'm going to learn my first lesson, because I'm sure it's a lot more than one, to learn how to play Mahjong. And I've been wanting to play Mahjong for so long, learn how to play it on actual board. So, learn things together.
Yeah.
So that's a friendship that I'm it's a new friendship, right? Mm-hmm. But whatever relationship you're having, you got to temporarily change the tone of your relationship. If you're going through the monotony, you come home, you have dinner, it's all so routine, and that's like death to me. I don't I know you love structure and routine. I hate structure and routine. I like shaking it up and just being we're going to do something different today. We're having, even if it's something as simple as, breakfast for dinner. It's so simple, and a lot of people do that, but you've got to be willing to change it up. It could be in food. It could be fun. You can make an ice cream bar and have a whole bunch of toppings and have the kids and saying we're having ice cream for dinner. It won't kill you if you have ice cream one time for dinner.
Right.
But there's so many other ways of playing games, going outside. Just say, hey, let's just go throw the ball around. Let's go for a walk. You'll last maybe 4 or 5 minutes in Tucson going for a walk right now, but the reality is change up your schedule. Be spontaneous. Just get in the car and be we're just going to go for a drive and QT for a soda and just go for a drive. Who cares? Just do something.
Yeah. You try. Always, there's always new restaurants wherever you're at in the world. There's always new
but you don't even need money.
Try. Yeah.
But you don't need money. I just finished sewing a picnic blanket. I got some canvas and I made a picnic. Just go out, get some food from your fridge, pack it in a box, and go to the park. We just did that last week. Mm-hmm. And just sit at find a shady spot, and just sit there and eat a meal.
Yeah, enjoy it. Yeah, because there's always because you're always curious about something. Whether you heard, your coworkers or you heard some friends talking about something, there's always something you're curious about. So every time you're curious about it, hey, let's do some little research in it and try it out. I'm excited about her learning. How you say it? Mahjong? I'm excited about her learning that because I want to learn how to play. So that's the cool part about always being, spontaneous, trying something different, trying something fun, and something out the box that makes your mind expand, makes it, grow.
Being able to share lighter moments of laughter, it helps relieve the tension of our everyday. No matter how brief it is, this will strengthen your relationship, even in the toughest times.
Mm-hmm. One of the things you should not be trying to do is not trying to change the person you're in a relationship with. Oh, my God. There are so many people, including ourselves, that have tried at times to change the person that we're in a relationship with. And we have to really watch out for why do we want to change them so bad? What is that thing that they do that's just different? Not bad, not something that's ridiculous. It's just something that we don't like to do. But let that person be themselves. Don't stop them from let them pursue their best selves. And that's the thing that's so beautiful is every time my baby does an art project or she tries some, we go out to some event that she's, a part of. And man, it such expands our relationship because we did something and said, you know what, I'm not trying to change my baby. Let me come over to her side and see how she sees things. So that's the cool part about knowing. We got to stop doing all of this. I got to change that person. How many relationships have ended badly, terribly, because one person was trying to change the other, and they knew when they got into the relationship with the person, the kind of person that they was before they got in too deep. So one of the things you got to think about with people is more than likely how you found them. People are going to be who they are when you first meet them. So don't try to change them. This is the person that you get, and we have differing views, different angles of how we see things, and accept that person for how they are and keep it moving.
I have accepted you, babe.
Thanks, boo.
With your high water wearing pants.
That's right.
Which is like my biggest struggle. And I will find pants, and sometimes I do. And ever so carefully place them into the closet.
Well, when you have a 36-inch inseam, those are not regular pants.
Good luck trying to find them. I'm 5 feet and I can't find pants. All the pants, like crotches down to my kneecaps, and all the pants for him are high waters. Yeah. So we have opposite problems, but the same. Either too tall or too short. But yeah, I mean, again, stay playful and stay fun about it. Don't be insulting. Don't be rude, and don't be condescending.
Yes.
You can try to improve each other. You can always try to call each other up. Yeah. But changing is something that has to come from within us. Yeah, and I could think of so many ways. I mean, like, this is the cool part about, I think doing certain episodes at certain times. We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary with the podcast. We're coming up on our 100 episode podcast coming up soon. And it's cool to be able to look back and hear and think about, man, my wife has helped me so much with my exercise routine. She's helped me with my Bible studies. She's helped me eating better, taking better supplements for my body when she hears about the certain things on TikTok or whatever she may be listening to. And she's helped me expand in so many different ways, so I'm super happy. Part of understanding that we're not to change that person. It's like, guess what? You can't make nobody do nothing. And if we get that up front, you're gonna live a phenomenal life when you understand that you can't make nobody do nothing. But when you get to the point where, if I see somebody doing something and you can help them and influence them to be even better at what they're doing, that's the part of loving somebody to say, I see what you're doing and what you're doing is good, but I guarantee there's a little bit extra you could be doing in this area. And my wife has blessed me so much in so many different ways with that. Thanks, babe. I'll pay you later for being my friend. Yeah, boo. Pay you later in food. So it goes without saying, one of the things not to do in a partnership, this is an intimate relationship, is no physical intimacy. Yeah. I mean, this applies to children and as well as, like, giving them a physical hug and things like that. But we're talking about partnership here. No physical intimacy. And let's be honest, we all know the truth. Intimacy is not only about sex. It's not always about sex. But we have to get on the same page about getting our needs met. Yes. Now, we all have different ways to communicate. We have different love languages. Some of us are way more physical touch, like me. I need to have you hold my hand. And that's the way I love others. Like, if I'm at work, I hold a lot of the residents' hands a lot, and I put my arm around them. And in partnership, we have to have the conversations. Again, staying curious, talking to the other person, trusting them enough to be able to be vulnerable about, hey, this is how I feel about my body, about our bodies together, about, like, I don't feel confident, or maybe I do feel confident, or maybe I don't feel good, or, like, trusting them to be able to say something and staying curious about asking them the same questions. Because there's going to be times in our relationship where illness, physical disabilities, and work, and even old age, it just, things take away. Things come to take away. They don't always have to last forever, but sometimes they last for a really long time, like illnesses and physical disabilities. And and sometimes work, you have to travel for months at a time. There's things that it takes away what used to be easy, and with age it becomes a little bit more challenging. And especially if you do not trust the other person with your heart, if you do not trust the other person with the most vulnerable parts of your thoughts of your own self, and you don't stay curious to ask them about how they feel in their own skin, and how do they feel about their changing bodies, whether it could be an illness or a disability or an age-related problem. It involves physical intimacy is more than just sex. It involves holding hands, kissing each other, hugging, cuddling, sleeping beside each other. Now, there's something to be said with Lucy and Desi Arnaz, who had like separate beds, because I mean, sleep is good. But every once in a while, it's even if it's on the sofa, just like put your shoulder down and take a nap together. Whatever type of intimacy you share, just get on the same page about how we can get both of our needs met.
Yeah. I think that needs to be spoken about, a lot, because like you said, with age, we getting wrinkles, and we getting, skin sagging, and muscles
aren't as hard as it used to be.
Yeah, okay. So you got to understand something like, man, with all those changes, let your partner know where you might be struggling with the confidence in those areas, and say to your, babe, I'm the reason why I haven't been holding you or touching you or wanting to be intimate is because I'm having some body conscious issues in these areas. I done put on a little extra weight, and I don't feel good about myself, so that's hindering me, wanting to reach out to you, because I'm casting on to you my insecurities about my own body, and so I'm thinking you thinking this, and then that's where we get into a lot of trouble. So that's where you should be really open and transparent and say, you know what, I've been not having the stamina level that I'm used to having. I've been feeling, a little tired, or a little bit more down, or just preoccupied with other things in my mind, and I'm not making sure I stay on top of, what we need to be physical. We need to be having more intimacy in our relationship, because if you don't, like we just talked about being fun, and it's crazy how all these are so much attached to each other, that you want to keep that curiosity, you want to keep the fun, you want to keep all of that, because what happens is the relationship can get super stale. And just like with food, once food gets stale, guess what we usually do? Throw it away. The cool part about a human relationship is we can, always re-spark the fire, and so throw that kindling on there, throw that extra fuel on there, throw that extra wood in there, so that make that relationship that much better. But you got to put forth intentionally to make that relationship work. You got to put the work in. There's
a lot of games out there that allow these really great card games that allow intimacy opportunities for discussions, and they're just questions. There's some for relationships, there's some for family. There's a really great one, I think it's called Tales.com, like TALES, and even for like our grandparents, to ask them questions before they're gone. The questions that you don't know, because you don't know how to ask certain questions, like what was your favorite memory of your childhood? What was the best? What was how did you get disciplined as a kid? How do we even know those questions? But start to ask questions, stay curious. You got to trust the other person, and talk about how to get your needs met. And respecting your boundaries is really important. Respecting all your boundaries, sexually, especially sexually. Not pressuring each other, not guilting each other, not threatening each other of withholding anything. Just stay fun, keep it fun. Play tag. I don't know. There's so many silly things that we can do. But when we start laughing together, and you stop being curious, and you stop trusting the other person, you just stop.
Yeah. And that's where you have to catch yourself and say, you know what, because this relationship is so much worth being in it, let me put forth the effort and making it happen. And some of the other, small things, I ain't gonna say small, because every one of these is super important. And we're just gonna throw some of the wording out there. You don't want to be disrespectful. You want to make sure you ain't holding no grudges. And you're not throwing the silent treatment out there doing this. These are things that you do not want to do in the relationship. Because, man, one of the greatest things for men that I know for a fact is being respected is a huge one. So you got to make sure that in that relationship with your significant other that you're not being disrespectful, because that's even more important for most men. If they was to be honest and transparent, than love, it's just the respect level. And then holding grudges. Why would you hold grudges with the people that you say you love, man? I mean, understand, we had a little disagreement, we had a little argument, but if that relationship is worth it, holding grudges and keeping records of wrongs that have been done, man, that's something that really needs to be worked on. And the silent treatment thing, oh my God, come on now. We as human beings are designed to communicate. So when there's that silent treatment going on, that's really putting harm into the relationship. Really putting harm.
Yeah. When you stop doing some of these things, when you stop trusting and you stop having fun and you stop being intimate and you stop
being curious.
Stop being curious. You start shutting things down in your own self. We start shutting things down, and before you know it, we have this issue in society, and it's usually one of the biggest issues, and it keeps healthy relationships going because it's supposed to be two should become one, is being a lone ranger. I can handle it myself, especially like a single mom. Like I was a single mom for 13 years before I got married, and it's really, really challenging. And I've spoken to quite a few single moms out there who are in healthy relationships now, but their default is to protect themselves and to watch their own back and cover the kids.
Yeah.
We love the idea of having somebody help us and help some support us, but the moment we lose trust or they lie or something is discovered, we revert immediately right back to that mode of this. I got to run the show.
Right.
It's all on me. It's all on me. I'm the one who has to do everything. I have to take care of everything. But we have to be careful that we don't become a lone ranger, and it's like it's my show. I'm always the main character, and I'm the only character needed in this, and you're just extra, and that's great, But we got to work together. We have to support each other, and even when we don't see eye to eye on something, or we don't have the same goals, and they're a little bit different, it's really important to have each other's back. We've got to always have each other's back, and I think for me the most important thing is. Do not seek in others that which you are not seeking in yourself. If I'm not trusting you, I need to work on being trustworthy.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm not curious about you if I'm not being curious about myself. Like, why do I want to do these things? Why am I the way? And why do I feel like I need to always go places? That's one thing for me. I'm always asking, why do I always want to escape? I always got a bag ready to go. Like it's just in me. Like I have to investigate that within me because everywhere I go, there I am, right? So why am I not having fun with me? That's why I'm always creating art because it needs to escape. It needs to be released from me.
Right.
I need to stop caging myself. So why not create something? It's hurting nobody. Right? So if I don't stay curious with me, how can I expect you to stay curious with me? If I don't have fun if I'm not willing to have fun all by myself, then how am I going to look to have fun with you? Right? If I'm not willing to really find the deepest parts of me and be willing to be vulnerable about what I need for intimacy, I don't even know how to ask you.
Yeah.
So do not seek in others and expect from others that which you are not willing to become.
Yeah. And you have to be And that's a good one because you have to be careful of not always putting yourself first, but we want that to be one of the first and foremost things that you do because remember we're not looking for the other person to fulfill us. We're looking for the other people to add to us and to go along supportively for the ride with each other. But that's the part of, if I'm feeling like something is missing in a relationship, that we do ask ourselves that question. Am I doing that for me first in the relationship? And then see, if there's any additional things that need to be done. Because like I said, if we're not being fulfilled with, our passions, our dreams, our goals, the wonderful things that we're out there trying to do. And then we have a supportive team to help with that. Life can get super depressing. Life can get super down. The energy can get low. And it's because we're saying to ourselves, man, I really need this thing that I really want, but am I putting forth the effort to get it? And asking, my partner, babe, do you see something that I could be doing different so I can achieve this thing, which is really holding me back from having the kind of life that I say I want? But we got to really think, man, these are the things not to do in a healthy relationship. And we want to make sure we do the things that we're supposed to be doing and things that we're not supposed to be doing. And I'm so grateful that you did this wonderful podcast with me, my love.
You're welcome, baby.
And thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time. We love you. God bless. All right, what's up, family? It's your boy, John Bacon, from the Bacon Bits Podcast. Thank you so much for your support, likes, and ratings. Please don't just listen, but rate me, follow me, and subscribe. This is an amazing way to offer free support. My beautiful queen and I have some books that we have written for your growth.
So the first book we have is a workbook, actually. It's called Healthy Relationships, and this is a workbook through the lens of faith. Because what makes a relationship healthy or unhealthy? So this workbook is designed, it's a 12-week, it's a biblically grounded course, and every week has a few different principles. So some of our principles, some of our topics that we're covering are respect, cultivating security. And this is not just between a husband and wife, this is between parents, between siblings, between friends, between your bosses, employers. So it's really important, and everyone deserves a healthy relationship.
And also we have The Balanced Life by John Bacon. It covers how to be prosperous in your finances, relationships, your health, your mind, and your spirit. So you can pick that up on Amazon, also on audiobook. And we also have
The Unraveling, a creative healing journal, pinings, poems, prayers, and ponderings of my precarious life. I've had a testimony of I've had 2 brain tumors and 2 brain surgeries, and I'm super grateful, but I'm still grieving the process of healing. And this is part of the process. In this book, you have devotionals, you have prayers, and you have some ponderings. And in between these pages, there's a space for you to also be prompted to paint and to create your own, or maybe you want to write something in these books. This is part of your creative healing journal that we get to walk through together.
And you guys can just head over to Kingdom Servants First. Kingdom Servants, the number 1, st.com. And you can purchase all 3 of these books. Thank you for your support, your love, and your contributions. God bless.